Can you just go over the parts on plugin browsing?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sure. Do you want me to? I'll type it in here. So I said Eigenbrowser Hey first of all.
Yeah.
Eigenbrowser Hey. Hit enter, and then I said audio unit rig 5 audio unit, because that's how we're referring to the audio unit. And then you just write plugin browse. So that's essentially what the browse talk is for the different audio units do. So hit enter, and then it kind of brings up the Eigenbrowser with the list. So yeah, I'll do that again. So that's audio unit rig 5 audio unit, or just in the name of the audio unit, and then just plugin browse. Eigenbrowser Hey audio unit X plugin browse. So that's that. Okay, so I was talking about this way that when we say, for example, the recorder to scaler connect, it doesn't just make one connection. It looks at all the names of the outputs and all the names of the inputs, and it matches up whatever names match. It makes a connection. So what we want to do is so for example, okay, so we want to connect. There's a controller output from the key group, and it's called controller output. And then inside the recorder, you have a number of inputs, and they're called auxiliary input 1, auxiliary input 2, auxiliary input 3. So what I'm going to do is rename one of those auxiliary inputs to controller input. And then when we say again key group output to recorder connect, it will match up those names, and the controller signal will be connected as well. So I say, first of all, we need to make the recorder listen to us. So audio unit rig 5 recorder. And then listen. Actually, I'll do it hey, because I'm just going to do one sentence to it. So audio unit rig 5 recorder hey. Actually, no, sorry, so change that again. Listen. Audio unit rig 5 recorder listen. Hit enter. Now everything we say for the little while from now on until we cancel that listen, the only thing that's going to respond is the recorder. And then we're going to say auxiliary input 1 to controller input nameify. So it's auxiliary input 1 to controller input nameify. Hit enter. Check down here. That worked. Auxiliary input 1 to controller input nameify. And so that's that done. I'm also going to name the output. So when I say recorder to scaler connect again, it's going to connect the output for me as well. So I'm going to say auxiliary output 1 to controller output nameify. So what we're doing here is literally naming the inputs of the agent. And you could do this, if you wanted to, you could do this with any agent. You can rename the inputs and outputs using nameify. So auxiliary output 1 to controller output nameify. Hit enter. Okay, just check down there. It all says okay. And that's all good. So all we need to do now is if I just do those connections again, basically, and it won't overwrite the ones that are already connected. That'll be fine. Hopefully it will now add this controller signal. So if I say, first of all joins, so I'm not in any particular conversation anymore, everything in the system is listening, all join, and then I'll say K group 1 output 44 to audio unit rig 5 recorder connect. Hit enter. That's all good down there, and then I'm going to do the same from the recorder to the scaler one more time. So K group. Oh no, that's wrong. Audio unit rig 5 recorder to audio unit rig 5 scaler connect. Audio unit rig 5 recorder to audio unit rig 5 scaler connect. I know we've already done this, but we've now renamed the output from the recorder, so hopefully it will make this new connection for us, as well as the ones that are already there. And now, if I go and play, the octave keys work now, and I've got courses, which is all stuff that wasn't working a second ago. So we've connected up the controller. So what I actually do when I'm normally working with recorders is I rename a lot of the inputs. There's a number of auxiliary inputs, and what I'll do, because at the moment we haven't even got the strip controller connected up, for example, to the recorder. So I'd go through and I'd say auxiliary input, I'd start with strip controller, so I'd say auxiliary input 1 to strip controller 1, strip position input 1 nameify. And I'd go through and I'd kind of name them all and then connect them all up. We probably haven't got time, unfortunately, to go.
Yeah, you're going to have to start wrapping up in a bit.
Wrapping up, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be a New Year's present.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to just follow this up. Okay, so at least we've got a working. Sorry, it was such a mess this afternoon or this evening. But at least we've got a working instrument now, a working audio unit instrument. There's a couple of things, just housekeeping things that we need to do. First of all, is connect the metronome to the recorder. Otherwise, the recorder won't record basically because it won't know what the tempo is. It won't know whether the metronome started or stopped or anything like that. So that's really simple. We just say metronome to audio unit rig 5 recorder connect. So do you want to zoom in just so you can...
Yeah, just how does one know function of the aux ins and outs?
They are quite literally, they have got no assigned function until... So you could record any signal. Yeah, it's kind of like an open thing. So any signal can go into the recorder and be recorded and come out as another auxiliary output. But in this case, we need the controller signal to go in. But it could be anything. I think that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So metronome to audio unit rig 5 recorder connect. Hit enter. So now the metronome. If I start the metronome, the recorder will know. And then finally, you will have all heard of the scheduler, which is the kind of thing that it kind of manages the recordings almost. So when you go to the scheduler key group and you can see a light for each new recording you make, but it does a lot more than that. It can do, it kind of keeps everything synchronized together. And every recorder, you have to tell that recorder which scheduler to use because you could have as many schedulers in the system as you want. So this is the last little tricky thing that you need to remember, housekeeping thing. So you just say audio unit rig 5 recorder hey, and then I'm going to say scheduler 1 use. That's all. You have to do it. You just need to, in case there were 5 schedulers in the system, you have to tell it which one you want this particular recorder to be involved in. And now, just quickly, just to test that, if I just say, here's the bel canto for recording, by the way, just quickly. So it's audio unit rig 5 hey, and then we'll just say 1 bar record. Hit enter, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. So the recording's working. Without doing that last stuff, the recorder just wouldn't work, basically. Cool. I guess I'll leave it there.
Cool. Sorry, excuse me. Still a bit fluey. So the scaler has control input that we need to get through input that we need to get through it.
Basically the scaler to work properly with the key groups, because the way the factory setup is that actually when you change the scale, each instrument can have its own scale set, and so that's what the scaler does. So you can set the scale inside the scaler, but actually the way we ended up doing it in the factory setups is as you're probably aware, you set the scale per key group rather than by instrument. And how that works with the scaler is you have this controller signal being sent down from the key group, and that's, as well as telling it how the courses are set up in that key group and which octave you're in, it also, if there's a scale set in the key group, down the controller signal, it will send this little thing saying override whichever scale you've been set inside the scaler, override that and use, while you're playing on this key group, use that scale that's been set there.
Cool. So now is just any questions. We've got about 5 minutes. Okay. So if you do want any questions answered, do put them in now. So you're making a route through the recorder by renaming the inputs and outputs so that the key group can talk to the scaler through the recorder.
That's right, yeah. Basically, so the renaming thing, it's a shame I didn't have time because I would have liked to go on to a bit more about that. But the reason I could have just said key group output, controller output to auxiliary input connect. Without doing the renaming, then I could have said auxiliary output to controller input on the scaler. But it's kind of what I wanted to move on to a little bit as well. But what I was kind of like trying to point out is that when you say agent to agent connect, obviously each agent's got lots of inputs and outputs, and it looks and it matches up the names of the inputs and outputs and makes the connection automatically, which actually turns out to be really useful if we'd gone on a little bit further. So that's why it was kind of seemed a little bit long-winded, like renaming the inputs. So that was the best way to do it. But we didn't necessarily have to do that. We could have just connected to the auxiliary input and then come out. But yeah, that's what we were doing. I hope that makes sense.
Cool. So, yeah, any other questions? Do put them in. So just quick reminder about that this is the last seminar up until Christmas. I think we're going to be, well, we will be back next year. I hope so. Probably the second week of January is when we will be back. Probably picking up on this. Definitely picking up on this.
Yeah.
So that's that. Hopefully next year we'll also have a microphone seminar, so we can go deep into that. Hopefully we'll be able to get Kayla down as well to grace us with her beautiful voice, so you don't have to have me or Dave sing or make noises at you. But yep, can you cancel choose mode if you triggered it for a key group by mistake?
Is that everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I did actually say, I meant to get back to that. I saw this on the forum. Actually, no is the horrible answer. Yeah, so like I've had that happen to me before, where I've accidentally not specified which key group I want to choose the keys for, and then had all the key groups choosing the keys. And unfortunately, there was no way to get out of it, but that is something that we need to sort out.
Okay.
Yeah, let me write that down.
Cool. So Christmas opening hours are on our website. Back on the second week of January. This Saturday is the South Bank with Robin.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Sorry, I was saying Saturday.
Yeah.
Sunday is the South Bank with Robin.
Yeah.
I think that's probably everything this week. Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope you all have a good and relaxing Christmas period, and lots of presents and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. All right. We'll see you next year in 2011. So happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Sorry, it was so messy.
Yep. Details of the thing are on the forum, not for Sunday. Cool, as well. Okay. Happy Christmas and New Year. Bye.
All right.